Did you know? Fate Reforged, released on January 23, 2015, was Magic's 66th expansion, and took place 1,280 years prior to its predecessor, Khans of Tarkir. This small expansion between two larger sets was referred to by research and development as a pivot set, because for the first time, it was to be drafted with both the expansion before it, Khans of Tarkir, and the one after it, Dragons of Tarkir. As such, many of the cards found in booster packs synergize with the Khans, but are much weaker when the dragons show up, and vice versa. Fate Reforged follows the continued adventures of Sarkhan Vol, the dragon speaker from Tarkir, who has been presented with an opportunity to travel back in time and change the fate of his world. Fate Reforged shows us the time-shifted plane, one in which dragons and clans battle for power and position over the land. Considered previously to be dead, one dragon in particular shows his face in Fate Reforged for the first time in Magic's history, Mugen the Spirit Dragon. Mark Rosewater has stated time and again that, unlike comic book heroes, characters that die in Magic are to be considered dead forever. However, Mugen's case is special. He did not die on stage, and since Sarkhan was time traveling, he was able to change this big lizard's destiny. And boy oh boy were players excited to see this card. An 8-drop planeswalker with a huge amount of loyalty and 3 game-wrecking abilities made waves across Standard and Modern. Mugen found a home in green-based ramp decks in Standard and could stabilize the board with his minus ability, exiling colored permanents from the battlefield. Modern Tron runs Mugen to this day, as it's able to cast the planeswalker as early as turn 4. When played in succession to a turn 3 Karn, Mugen usually seals the deal immediately. Since Nicol Bolas was thought to have destroyed Mugen, R&D decided to design his ultimate as a reverse of the original Elder Dragon's -9 ability. Mugen's -10 mirrors Nicol Bolas's. You gain 7 life, draw 7 cards, and put 7 permanents into play. Epic. Mugen wasn't the only multi-format all-star from Fate Reforged. The Proto-Clan leaders have also been fan favorites since their inception. Commander players love these 5 legends due to their hybrid mana costs and their activated abilities. This allows players to play flavorful 3-colored decks, and still have generals that are easy to cast from the command zone. Unlike Mugen, Tasigur, the Proto-Khan of the Sultai clan, became a win condition in control decks in Standard and Modern. Casting a 4/5 for 1 black mana by delving away extra fetch lands in the graveyard is quite impactful. Choice was a central theme to Fate Reforged. Mirroring Sarkhan Vol's choice to travel back in time, Magic's designers made sure to include a higher amount of modal spells in the Fate Reforged card file in order to give players more options during gameplay. These modal spells, like Valorous Stance, also came with a beautiful new format that bulleted the various modes. Although a minor detail, this format has been used with every printing of a modal spell since, making the options much clearer for players. Maybe the most iconic modal spell from this set is the card Crux of Faith. This card is the perfect example of a pivotal story moment turned functional Magic card. Like Sarkhan, players must choose between a world populated by Khans or dragons, thereby destroying the opposition. This card acted as the premier mass removal spell in the Esper Dragon shell, popular during the Standard season. Piloted by Shota Yasuoka, this control deck made it to the finals of Pro Tour Dragons of Tarkir. Players also made choices in the form of the Siege Cycle, a group of 5 monocolored enchantments that asked players to decide between Khans or dragons when entering the battlefield. These enchantments saw play throughout Standard and have become popular options in EDH ever since. To note, the foil versions of Crux of Fate and the Siege Cycle all have a unique watermark that shows either the Khans of Tarkir set symbol and the eventual Dragons of Tarkir set symbol depending on the angle you look at it. Speaking of alternate versions, the Fate Reforged pre-release was promoted with unique booster packs called Eigenstate Packs. Players were rewarded with these packs when choosing to gain a glimpse of the future, thereby earning a small booster of 2 cards with alternate artwork. These cards have now become collector items for players, demanding a much higher price than the normal printing. Perhaps the most beloved aspect of Fate Reforged is found in the number of dragons in the set. According to lead designer Ken Nagel, Fate Reforged had the highest number of individual dragon cards per booster in Magic's history. From rare all the way to the block's only common dragon, Lightning Shrieker, this set has menacing flyers that took over the skies in Limited, making Timmies all over the globe ecstatic in the process. At uncommon was a cycle of 5, 4/4, 6-drop dragons with various abilities. The set's rare dragons were the infamous ally-colored named dragons in their proto-form. Although not as powerful as the Dragonlord counterparts, these creatures cleverly set the scene for the world to come in Dragons of Tarkir. Silumgar the Drifting Death was an especially noxious creature, able to wipe the board of opposing players' tokens when he attacked. This card was fantastic against Elspeth Sun's champion while it was in the standard format. Of course, since Fate Reforged was still a pseudo-wedge set, the Khans of Tarkir fetch lands could be found as a sweet surprise in the basic land slot of boosters. More importantly for limited players, the basic land slot was replaced instead by a non-basic dual land, which helped drafters fix their mana and play 3-color decks. This, of course, also helped them cast more dragons. Finally, a subtle but important aspect of this set is found in its unique set symbol. Typically, the middle set of a block acts as a bridge between the first and last ones, which is traditionally a combination of the first two. Scars of Mirrodin featured this design theory, as did Theros' block. Fate Reforged, however, looks nothing like its neighbors. Instead, we see two worlds colliding in a perfect, asymmetric logo as the past is reshaped and the future becomes unclear. And now you know more about Fate Reforged. If you missed the first episode on Khans of Tarkir, you can go watch it by visiting the Did You Know Magic playlist. Also, please visit my YouTube channel, The Magic Man Sam, where I host a variety of original Magic the Gathering content. Thanks for watching.